Hi guys, welcome to Vegan Booty Talks. I have a guest with me today. She is a vegan of 6 years, full-time sustainability professional and certified personal trainer. She has a passion for fitness and bodybuilding and promoting a plant-based lifestyle. She recently competed as an NPC bikini competitor for the first time. Welcome to the show, Brittany Saulsbury. Hey, how are you?
Thank you. I am doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. It's been nighttime on your end, and it's a really beautiful sunny day in Hawaii. So I think I am doing a little bit better than you.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. I'm very jealous.
So before we jump into some questions I got to you, I want a little bit more know you. Tell us where you're from and what do you do for a living?
Yeah, so I am from Portland, Oregon, actually originally, but I now live up in Seattle, Washington, and have also previously, before this, lived in California. So I've kind of been all over. But what I do for a living, I'm actually a sustainability professional. So I work with corporate clients to essentially kind of green their real estate and make sure that their commercial building spaces are being designed and constructed with sustainable practices. So things like water efficiency, energy efficiency in the buildings, the materials that go into the buildings, making sure not only are they sustainable materials, but they're materials that are healthy for occupants, indoor air quality, things like that. So I have been working in that industry for now 6 years. And I really do enjoy it. I was an environmental science major in college, so it really aligns with my interests, and it's also kind of aligned with veganism as well. As we all know, it's definitely the most sustainable diet you can follow in terms of your own individual kind of choices.
Yes, it's an amazing job. I actually never met a person doing something like that. So this is super interesting to me. So how actually did you find out about veganism? So as I said in the beginning, you vegan about 6 years. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how did you start?
Yeah, so I actually in college I had some stints, I would say, with where I was vegetarian, pescatarian, and honestly in college I was like, oh, I could never go. I was one of those people that was like, I could never go vegan, like I would wither away, like I would be deficient, things like that. But as I kind of got more just educated myself more on it and understood that, I could be healthy on a vegan diet. I already really understood kind of the environmental impacts and kind of the ethical side of things. But what was kind of holding me back was I was worried about like my health and like not being healthy on a vegan diet. So after kind of educating myself on that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it for a month and see if I can do it. And I did it, and I actually just never went back after that.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So how did you actually educate yourself? What did you use to know what to eat and to make sure that you have all the macro and micronutrients?
Yeah. So it's definitely been like a learning curve, but the the first book I read, which was a while ago, was the China study, which might be a little more outdated now, but I think everyone's kind of heard of that book. But I think there's a lot of more amazing resources that have came out since then, like How Not to Die, Blue Zones, the Blue Zone Diet book. There's a lot of other resources. Also, just social media too has kind of exploded, and there's a lot of great content on there. There's some not so good content too, but there's a lot of really great content and educational stuff you can find on social media as well. Um, so yeah, I've kind of learned as I went, I would say, which I think a lot of people do when they first are starting out.
Yeah, absolutely. But you was vegetarian or you straight fully vegan while you was eating meat and dairy and fish?
Yeah, I wasn't vegetarian at the time. I had been vegetarian in college for a little bit, but at that point in time when I went vegan for the month, I was eating, yeah, meat, at that point, and I just went straight cold turkey vegan, and then I just didn't go back.
That's awesome. So let's say someone is really busy, right? And that's how usually people do it this time. Wake up in the morning and then say they want to go vegan. So what they gonna do? How you did that? How you start eating different dishes? Let's say they didn't have time to read the books or go to social media and find the recipes. Can you give us
Yeah.
an example?
Yeah, so I started just eating like a lot more fruit and vegetables, and um also just like Googling like recipes I ate, that maybe weren't vegan, and just how to veganize them, because you can veganize anything now. And people that go vegan now are lucky in that there's so many good like cheese alternatives and things like that, that like there weren't as many options 6 years ago, and even before that there was like nothing, I feel like. So the explosion of like vegan products on the market's pretty crazy, just seeing that over the past 6 years. So yeah, I would say, I mean, you can veganize any of your favorite recipes that you already are eating that maybe are not currently vegan.
Awesome. Yes, I think it's so helpful too. You just can switch up the meat, switch up the cheese for a vegan option. And that's not the healthiest one, I think, because those brands is amazing and I'm happy that they have them.
Yeah.
But like frozen fakes vegan meats is not the best healthier thing on this planet, as we know. But
Yeah.
just to start out, that's a good choice. And that's the good options. Thank you so much for sharing this. This is amazing information. So while you was transitioned to the vegan diet, did you already start to competing, or the bodybuilding side of your life comes later?
So at that point, I was already like into bodybuilding. I was not really interested, or even like competing wasn't really on my radar. I just really enjoyed lifting and like putting on muscle. I've always been kind of like tall and lanky and skinny, and I've always wanted to like have more muscle and like feel strong. And like when I got into lifting, I was like, oh, this is like the right way to do it. I like don't just do cardio and like push-ups and abs. I just need to like lift, and then I'll actually have muscle. So I was already doing that when I first went vegan, but I had kind of fallen off for a little while. And then when I went vegan, I really got back into lifting. And yeah, so I've been lifting for like 6 years now. And then yeah, recently this year, I have a friend here, she's not vegan, but she competes, and she kind of encouraged me to compete. And I have thought about it for the past couple of years, like, oh, maybe I should, but I didn't know if I could do the diet, but I did it, and it was fun. And yeah.
Awesome. It's so interesting. Your non-vegan friend decided to, introduce you some competition stuff. That's so interesting. So your non-vegan friend is believing that you can build the muscles and actually
Yeah.
be successful as a competitor in the bodybuilding world. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
She's
awesome.
great. So yeah, she's very accepting of it. And yeah, encouraged me to compete, and I'm glad she did. I had a really great time and a good experience competing.
Wow. Did you hire a coach, or how did you find out how to do these things?
Yeah, I did hire a coach, at least for my macros. So she did my macros, and then in my cardio, and then I also had a posing coach, and then I just did my own training.
Wow. Why did you decide that? Why did you decide to do it your own way?
I well, one, to save money, but two, I enjoy doing my own training. I am a certified personal trainer, and I just really enjoy like doing my own training program. Not to say I think I could get value out of having someone else help me with my training program and do tweaks. I totally think I could get value out of that. But for my first competition, I was just kind of trying to save money, and I do enjoy doing my own training. So yeah, I just did it myself.
Cool. And you certified trainer, but you never work as a trainer, as that that's what I'm having here.
I actually was working as a trainer.
Oh,
Well, part-time to my current full-time job, I actually was training prior to the pandemic. I had started personal training on the side, like in person at a gym.
mm,
Um, but then the pandemic happened and I I have not trained since then. It was also it was a lot because I was working a full-time job and a part-time job. So I may get back into that. I just haven't really decided at this point in time. I really enjoy training people in person, and just with the pandemic and all, I know that's, not something that's happening as much right now.
yes, that's true. Absolutely. I moved all my business online when pandemic hits. I was used to, meet people in real time, but not anymore. We all
Yeah.
here. And it's kind of a good and bad in the same way, right? Because we have, options like right now to conversation, like to talk and like share our experience and everything. But it's never going to be the same if I'm going to talk to you in a real time with a cup of coffee, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of good and bad at the same time. But that's amazing experience you got. And it's great, example of someone who are get ready for the first show by doing your own stuff. Because I actually believe that no one is know your body better than you. And if you are, certified trainer, you can do your own thing. And true, believe or not, I also do that. I also like to, follow my own protocols. And even if I hire a trainer and I do that for competitions for a specific amount of time, I always bottle. I always asking so many questions and trying to educate myself and find out why we're doing specifically this or that, right?
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So how did you do on your first show? When was that?
It was good. I actually ended up doing two back-to-back shows. So one was last weekend and one was the weekend before. And I did good. I got first in novice and true novice at my first show, although I was the only one in my class. So
Oh my goodness.
it was a small show. And then I got second in open at that show. And then my second show, they actually let me do novice again because no one was in my class at my last show. So
Yeah.
the showrunner was nice and let me do novice again because there were actually girls in that class at that show. And I did get first at novice at that show. And then I got third in open. So I felt
Wow.
really good about that. And I was really happy about like the package I brought. But I will say, even though I did my own training, having a coach give me my macros and that check-in feedback on my physique every week was like super helpful and important because it's hard to be objective. I feel like on yourself when it comes to like your calories and how you're looking.
Absolutely. It takes so much practice. And I could tell you about this like no one else because I do my own macros and I do check in with myself at the moment. As I said, I'm not always having a coach. And I just figure out the way just to send the emails to my own self because I'm a nutritionist, I'm a personal trainer. I have over, 7 years of experience. My clients are successful bodybuilders. And I was like, why I do go to the other coaches and I love it. But when you off season and when I so much focus on my business, I don't really want to do that anymore. So it was
Yeah.
struggle, but it's possible, but you have to be strategic. As I said, I do send the email as my client to myself. And I pretend when I got this email that I'm a coach now and someone has sent it to me. So I'm trying to just fully forgot that this is me, right?
Yeah.
And that's an option I could tell, working well. Wow, that's amazing. You got first place into the novice in your first show. How did you feel?
I felt good. It was really fun and like I had a really good time meeting all the girls that were competing. Everyone was super nice and I was kind of worried that like people might be like competitive, but everyone I met was just super nice and super supportive and it's just cool to be around other people that like have the same like passion and interest as you. So yeah, I had a really good time and a good experience, and I definitely think I'll compete again. I want to take a really long off season though, and come back with, ideally more muscle and some improvements.
Yeah, awesome. That's so great that you understand that. Sometimes it's really hard to stop, keep competing and competing. And especially as a newbie, you need to grow. And that's great. You realize that and you can step back. This is amazing example for someone out there who struggle and think that, I'm just maybe built not for the sport. We all built for the sport. You just have to
Yeah.
take your time and
Yes,
in the work.
especially if you're natural, like it takes a long time to put on muscle. But yeah, I'm excited for this off season. Prep taught me a lot. Like I was not eating very high protein before I started prep, so that's something I'm planning on trying to keep into my off season, because I just got a lot better about keeping track of my protein intake and things like that I really wasn't tracking at all before I started my prep. I was just
Perfect. Yeah.
eating whatever I wanted.
That's amazing. And, have you felt different when you are being vegan, started to eat more proteins? Did you feel better and more energy, or maybe you felt fuller?
Yeah, I definitely felt fuller. Like it kept me more like satiated, especially as my calories got lower. And honestly, like I wasn't super hungry in prep until my calories got like really low, like, like 5 weeks out. They start to get low, and then, you start to get pretty hungry. But yeah, keeping the protein high definitely helped with hunger. So yeah, that's something I definitely learned.
Yeah, absolutely. And can I ask you also, when you switch to the vegan lifestyle, did you felt any difference into your performance in the gym, into your mood, maybe into your skin, like any difference, maybe your digestions change? Did you realize something change?
Yeah, so I like do not get sick very often anymore. Not saying I don't get sick, I do, but like I used to get really bad sinus infections when I got sick, and when I got sick, I would get like really sick. Whereas now when I'm vegan, I typically can get over things really fast. And then I've also noticed like my recovery in the gym is generally better. Like I just feel like less inflammation. And then also my hair has like just grown. It like
Wow,
used to
that's
only grow
interesting.
to like a certain length, and now it's just like it's extremely long.
Wow, that's so interesting. Never heard that one is helping going vegan. If you
Yeah.
someone is need a hair, please go vegan. Try it. You're gonna have a month of hair growth. That's awesome. And do
Yeah.
you take any supplements like to, to respect your vegan lifestyle?
Yeah, so I take B12, an omega supplement. What else do I take? Um, those are my main ones. Oh, I take a probiotic, although I don't know if it's really absolutely necessary.
Mhm.
And then I took a multivitamin during prep, and I'm still taking that just because I wanted to make sure I was getting everything I needed. Because when your calories are that low, yeah, you probably aren't getting all your micronutrients in. But yeah, and then as far as supplements go, mainly just take creatine, protein powder, and then essential amino acids.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. So you're completely natural and you are at a really successful show. That's a great example for someone listen us that is possible, girls. You don't need to have any steroids. Please don't take them. Don't take anything crazy. If someone is tell you that, please don't. Especially popular one that clients come to me, it's they take, I just got out of my head. It's some special um supplements you take to get shredded. I forgot the name right now. And this is not good one. If anyone out there hire a coach and coach tells you in order to get shredded for a show, you need to take something. This is not good. Run away, please run away from this coach and never come back, right? Because if you needed to get shredded, you just have to go to calorie deficit. And for that, we
Yeah.
can lower your calories or we can add more cardio, or we can do hand in hands together, but we would never want you to take any specific special magic pills, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, it's your first show ever you did? And I remember when I was getting my first show, I get crazy scary to doing more cardio and getting skinnier. And I was on the way, like one day I was remembering, I was thinking, maybe it's not for me. It's too hard. So have you had this feeling as a first time competitor, like during your prep, when you was like, we all have those doubts. And have you had those?
Yeah, I definitely had those during prep, just because, the changes are obviously so slow and you're seeing yourself every day. So you're not seeing the changes over time. And I think like looking back at your photos, when you checked in, 16 weeks out versus 10 weeks out can be helpful and be like, okay, I am making progress rather than comparing like week to week, because normally it's not going to be a huge change. But yeah, I definitely I feel like everyone feels that way when you get closer to the end. Like you're like, I'm not lean enough, I'm not lean enough, because you have those prep goggles on and you're like, yeah, which is why I do think it's important to have a coach to check in with those photos, so you can have that second set of eyes that are more like objective and then be like, no, you are ready, like you're good.
Yes, exactly. Okay, good. Can I ask you also your top 5 vegan proteins?
Yeah. So I love protein powder. Ambrosia Collective is one of my favorites, and also Morphogen Nutrition Vegagen Protein. Both super good. And then as far as whole food sources, tofu, although tofu gets hard to fit into your macros, I would say near the end of prep because it's kind of higher in fat. Seitan is a good one. Although I did try and limit seitan to 1 meal per day, just because I noticed when I ate too much seitan, it was kind of affecting my digestion. And then tempeh, I love tempeh. And occasionally, or I would also have a couple mock meat products that were either pea protein based or soy protein based.
Wow. Okay. It's great. I know, obviously, ambrosia powder, but I never heard about the second one. I will be happy if you send it to me. This is interesting. I will try to new one protein powder on the market.
Yeah, it's super good. And it's also, the reason I think ambrosia is so good is because it's sweetened with sucralose, which I know some people may have a problem with that, because I think for some people it can affect their digestion. For me, I don't have issues with it, but this Morphogen Vegagen one is also sweetened with sucralose, and I feel like that's the key to making vegan protein actually taste good.
Wow, I never heard about that. This is so smart. Maybe you're right. And maybe we could open now new vegan protein powder company because we know the secret.
I know. And I personally, I think it's some people don't like the taste of stevia, and I'm kind of one of those people, and I feel like stevia is in every vegan protein out there.
Yeah, you're right. I'm okay with the stevia, but I like the texture of ambrosia, and I like the macronutrients profile because I always check on that. I like this extra thing they add to that, right? Like some, digestive enzymes, and it's just much better, especially for people who never tried to be vegan. I have so many clients who come to me and they maybe don't want to be vegan, but for some reason, whey protein, because it's growth, we have to switch it. And this vegan protein powder digests really well.
It does.
Yeah, so that's why. Okay, guys, if you're interested in, I'm gonna leave the description down below the information about this vegan protein, and then the other one that you talk about too. And then for ambrosia, you can use my code to save some money when you try it out. And trust me, if you don't like the taste of that one, just send it to me. I will refund you money, because I promise you, you're gonna like it, because I know this company makes really good vegan protein. I absolutely know that. Okay, let's move forward. I almost forgot to ask you. So while you was competing, have you felt this pressure being vegan athlete?
Yeah, I felt a little pressure just in that, like, I don't want, also, I'm just like a type A person, and that, like, if I have an assignment, like, I want to do a good job, like, I want to show up and like look good, right? And then, yeah, there's like that added pressure of like, oh, well, I'm also vegan, so I don't want to show up and like people not look good and people be like, oh, well, vegans can't do this, right? So there definitely is like a little bit of that added pressure. But I felt really good about my physique, and I was like proud of the package I brought. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think there's a little added pressure, but I think we're seeing more and more vegan athletes, and it's more common now that people are more like accepting of it and realize it like can be done.
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm so happy with this last couple years new movie, right?
Yeah.
If someone is still didn't watch it, Game Changers
Mhm.
is the good movie to watch. Please do. And I also gonna add the description down below for this movie, just in case you didn't watch yet. And absolutely happy that you didn't struggle with that as much, because nowadays it's much easier. When I was starting, it was much harder. People was really don't even believe in it's possible. Especially if we're talking about pro bodybuilding, right? If it's not like
Yeah.
a neutral federation. And I remember backstage when I was having pump ups and the girls was like hearing me talking to my husband about something to eat or something after the show, and I was like, oh, is any good vegan restaurants right here? And they were like, are you vegan? I'm like, yeah. What? They were like almost not believing me, like, what? Is impossible, you look like that, vegan? What do you eat? This question is the most common
Mhm.
question, right? And I want to ask you, what do you ask if someone asks you, what do you eat?
Um, yeah, what do I eat? I mean, I eat the same thing everyone else eats. I just replace the meat with a vegan protein source, which is usually like tofu or seitan, tempeh, which then you usually have to explain what those things are because
Yeah, you're
people
right.
don't know what seitan or tempeh are. They're like, what is that?
Yeah, yeah. And it's
Um,
so funny. It's right. Yeah, it's like second question, but that's good. It means people are curious, and it means they may be gonna switch up a little bit, and we're
yeah.
gonna save this planet. Because I want to know your main reason for going vegan. Is that for health or for animals or maybe for environment? Tell me the main reason.
My main reason was for animals and environment. One, I'm like in the sustainability world and I'm a sustainability professional, and I just feel like it's shown that like at least in your individual choices, like having a vegan diet is like the easiest way you can like significantly decrease your own individual carbon footprint. So to me, I'm like, I want to like, I don't want to just talk the talk. I want to walk the walk, right? And then the ethics side of things too was super important to me. When I was transitioning to veganism, I don't think I mentioned this, but I had also recently watched Earthlings, which kind of impacted me a lot in terms of the ethical side of things, and was kind of like the tipping point in terms of me like wanting to try out veganism.
Awesome. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. And I'm not the same way. I was starting a vegan diet, absolutely don't know what I'm doing because I don't eat meat from 9 years old. So being 9 years old, you don't think about those things, but you just don't like the taste or you don't feel good and you stop eating, right? But
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, of course, I think I am vegan, first of all, for this planet. And this is huge change in our minds have to be changed in order to save this beautiful planet, this earth.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to ask you about this. And before I let you go, I have one question that I ask everyone. And this is if it's going to be your first, not the first, oh my God, this is going to be, if it's going to be your last day on this earth, what you going to do?
What am I gonna do? Um, Honestly, just spend time with my family and friends, enjoying their company. We don't even have to be doing anything crazy. I think just yeah, enjoying time with family and friends is super
That's so
important.
sweet. Yeah, it tells me that you are a sweet and kind person, and your family is the most important thing for you, and this is how it has to be. I feel like I am too much talking today, so I cannot talk anymore. My English is leaving my mouth, but I still have small game that I play with
Okay.
everyone. So I'm gonna say 2 words and you're gonna choose one. Okay.
Okay.
So coffee or tea,
Tea.
black or purple,
Black.
gym or outdoor workouts,
Gym.
beach or mountains,
Beach.
juice or smoothie,
Smoothie.
wine or water,
Water.
chocolate or sweet cream,
A sweet cream.
kiss or hug,
Hug.
laugh or sex.
Laugh.
Okay, that was it. Thank you so much for your honesty right there. And it was such a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time. Before I let you go, tell us where we can find you and follow your vegan competitor journey.
Yeah, you can find me at Blonde Buff Vegan. That's
Love
my
it.
Instagram handle.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it in the description below, guys, so you can find it. And if we are wanted to, if you want to say something to our listeners before you go ahead.
I would say just thank you for having me. If you're at all interested in a plant-based diet, I think you should give it a try. And baby steps first, no one's perfect. I think making small steps towards veganism is awesome. And I don't think everyone's going to be 100% vegan, but I think we can all make steps in the right direction to, decrease our animal consumption.
Yes, that's true. Thank you so much for these amazing words, and thank you for your time. I am really having a pleasure right here, and I'm sure our listeners too. I hope to talk to you more in the future. Thank you so much again, and I'll see you soon. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
Thank you so much for having me.